don't get caught in that slump. People get caught in that slump, and that's when projects go to die. What's going on, y'all? Excuse the audio. My mic is not working, it's being stupid. So I just want to give a 1 year update on my 1981 Chevy Caprice that I am LS swapping with a 5.3 Gen 3 LS with a 4L slippy transmission. So I actually got the title for this car in September of 2024, but I didn't start working on it until about November 2024. So it's been a little bit over a year of me working on it. And previously to me picking it up, the car was sitting for 12 years in my grandmother's backyard. It was my great-grandfather's car. He owned the car for about 8 or 9 years before he passed away. But it's going to go over the progress of what's been happening over the last year and kind of what we need to do to get the car on the road. Well, to get at least running and driving to where we can actually drive the car. All right, so first, of course, like I said earlier, it has a 5.3 Gen 3 and a 4L 60E overdrive transmission. The motor has 328,000 miles on it, or at least the truck it came out of had 328,000 miles on it. It's all stock. I did gaskets, I did oil pump, front main seal, 302-1 oil pan, and that's really about it. It has the S10 shorty headers on it. It has the 2000 to 2006 truck intake, that's like $60 on Amazon. AC Delco water pump, Maylene 295 oil pump. Like I said, the Holly knockoff Amazon special 302-1 oil pan. And I'm also using the power steering pump from this motor as well. I'm running the stock style motor mounts with the stock clamshells that came off the stock 350. And then I'm running some knockoff ICT billet motor mount adapter plates. And I'm on 3 holes from the front. And for the transmission, from what I can tell, it is a G-Force knockoff transmission cross member with like a $12 Amazon motor mount. So nothing crazy, nothing out the way. I'm going to be running the eBay Amazon radiator that comes with the dual fans. I have the dual fan relay that should run off the factory ECU, but if not, I'll run it to a 10 switch or something somewhere. The interior on this car was absolutely terrible. So it was a guy on Facebook, and I got this blue interior off of him, and these seats are 100 times better than the seats that were in here. I think it came out of an 80 or 89 Caprice. And the car came with the factory 50-50 seats in the front, so these just bolted right on in. And I guess they didn't know how the back seats came out, so they were pulling and tugging. So I need to figure out a way to kind of get that situated. And to bring the car up 2025, my boy PJ made me some USB-C charger adapters that go inside the ashtray. So it looks like 1981, but it brings us up to 2025. So I'm super excited about that. And this is a base model car, no power seats, no power windows. You know, you got to put that on work in to get these windows up and down. And I'm not going to convert it over either. Not converting it over. And this motor is a drive-by-wire motor, so I will have to modify the stock pedal to go on the pedal from the Yukon. So, you know, the car is just all stock. There's not a whole lot to it. I also do have a 94, 95 Caprice 9C1 cop rear end that has the factory disc brakes. I'm going to put that on there. Now with that, this car is a 5x4 3/4, so this is the small GM bolt pattern, and the 9C1 rear ends is the big GM wheel pattern, which is 5x5. So that's why I have the 24s that I bought for the IROCs are going to be sold tomorrow, because the small bolt pattern won't fit the big bolt pattern. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do about wheels. But to convert the front from the small bolt pattern to the big bolt pattern, I'm going to run the Box Caprice front spindles. That will also allow me to upgrade from 11-inch rotors to 12-inch rotors. And then I do have the Wheelwood D52 calipers that I'm going to run on this, which takes it from a single piston to a dual piston front caliper. So I have dual piston front calipers and disc brakes. The car should stop decently, hopefully. And I mean, as far as progress goes for the first year, that's about it. I mean, you can do what you can with what you have. I make decent money, but I got a wife, I got 2 kids, I got a mortgage, I have other hobbies. I got 3-wheeler, I got 4-wheeler, both my kids got 4-wheelers. We like to go on vacation, we like to eat good, we like to enjoy ourselves, you know. So it's just one of them things where you got to balance, you know, your money and your time amongst your projects and amongst your day-to-day things. And I really don't have a deadline for this car. I'm just kind of doing it in my side time, and I am thankful that I have somewhere that's covered to have the car while I'm working on it and when I can get around to it. But you know, the biggest thing with projects like this is seeing people on the internet that's getting these cars, getting these trucks, and then within 30, 45 days, it's running, it's driving, they dropping it off at the paint shop, they dropping off getting the interior done, they're getting panoramics put in and all that stuff. And it's like, man, they bought that, you know, 2 months ago, and now it's running, driving, it's painted, the interior done. Don't let that weigh heavy on you. Do what you can when you can. You have to set milestones for yourself, so that way, you know, it keeps you motivated. You know, don't try to do too much too soon, but now, you know, your car ready, but you broke. Or you took your emergency funds to try to get your car ready, but now an actual emergency comes up, you ain't got that extra money. Or you try to do too much and burn yourself out. You know, you don't want to take the enjoyment and the excitement away from it, but you also have to do little things to keep your motivation. Like today, the only thing I really got done today, just to kind of keep the motivation coming up, because I know the next, you know, 3-4 weeks coming up to Christmas and the New Year, I'm not got time to work on it. Plus it's cold out here. I can't feel my fingers. I came down here today, I put the wire harness on the motor, I put the intake on the motor, and I put my spark plug boots on here. And then I went to the donor vehicle and I took the fuel pump module out of the donor Yukon, because I'm going to take the fuel pump out to put it on my fuel system, because I have my fuel system stuff at the house, but I need to start working on it. So just kind of get one step closer to what we can do, so I can start making progress on the fuel system. So once I get the fuel system ready, then I got to get the ECU flashed to take VATs off and to take out the downstream O2 sensors. And I still got to buy O2 sensors. I still got to wire up the NOx sensors. You know, it looks close, but I still have a ways to go to where I can even start the car up and let it idle. You know, I still got to hook up my shifter lever. See that round thing right there? That is the shifter lever. So that shifter lever needs to connect to the transmission, so that way when I pull it down and drive, that shifter lever will move a rod. It'll move the shifter lever on the transmission and put it in drive. I got to get that together. So, you know, I popped this hood and it looked like I can go in there and just start it, but I still got a ways to go. So you got to set up little milestones for yourself to keep motivated, you know, and just do little things to kind of keep you going. Don't get caught in that slump. People get caught in that slump, and that's when projects go to die. Have little milestones for yourself. Make a checklist. Make little milestones. Hit your little milestones. Stay motivated. That's my advice for you today. Hit little milestones. Stay motivated. And don't let the success of somebody else weigh heavy on you and make you feel like you're a failure. Everybody succeeds at different rates. Nobody goes at the same rate. Everybody succeeds at different rates. So you succeed at your rate, but you keep making progress and keep going towards your end goal. I'm going to get there when I get there. My timeline ain't nobody else's timeline, and their timeline is not my timeline. So you do what you can do when you can do it. And when it comes time to start it, when it comes time to put it in drive, and you go on down the street, and what you've been working on for a year, 2 years, whatever the case may be, you know you did it. And you know that you took your time, and you did it as right as what you could do it. And it may not be perfect when you make that first drive, but then you got time to just kind of refine it and do what you're supposed to do with it. Your vision is your vision. So you take your time, because at the end of the day, it's your time and it's your money, nobody else's. Them people commenting ain't coming to sacrifice their time to work on your car. Them people commenting ain't coming out giving you no money to work on your car. Do what you can do, when you can do it, how you can do it, the best you can do it. So like everything that you do, think, build, enjoy, keep that motivation up. And do it when you can do it. Peace. And just to add, where my lights at? And just to add one more thing, my 1 year update video, it helps when you have somebody that has similar interests, somebody who's going to push you forward, somebody who's going to support you and encourage you in your old school build or just anything in life. It helps if you have somebody, even if they don't understand, that supports you and pushes you forward. But at the end of the day, do it for you. Do it because you want to do it. Don't do it because you want to stun on these niggas. Don't do it because everybody else is doing it and you want to fit in with what everybody else is doing. Oh, so-and-so got an old school. So-and-so got an old school. So-and-so got an old school. I feel left out. I want an old school. Build and do what you're going to do because that's what you want to do. Don't do it because other people like it. I don't know if you heard me. Don't do it because other people like it. Don't do it chasing likes. Don't do it chasing comments because that's not sustainable. When you start having issues, because everything got issues. When you start having issues and the comments stop coming in, the likes decrease, what's going to motivate you? If those comments motivate you as an add-on to your self-motivation, go ahead. But if you're doing it because other people like it and deep down inside you not doing it for you, when you start having issues, you're going to run from it and you ain't coming back to it. I see too many people doing stuff for likes and follows and comments, and when it get tough, where they go? They disappear because they didn't do it for them, because they ain't had a drive and the motivation internally. All their motivation was external, had nothing to do with them, had to do with everybody else. Do it because you want to do it. It's your passion, is what you want to do, because otherwise it's not gonna be sustainable at all. Period, point blank. That's all I had to say. Do it for you. Don't do it for social media. Don't do it because all your friends doing it. Do it for you, and then everything else is going to be an add-on. Those comments, when you post it, is going to be an add-on. When you post that, you post the pictures, the videos, the progress, you are doing that for you. It shouldn't make a difference if you get 0 likes and 0 comments, or if you get 1,000 likes and 1,000 comments. It shouldn't matter. If you go back and look at my videos, man, them videos got 100 views. I have a lot of videos that never made it over 200 views. Got a bunch of videos. And I've been doing this YouTube consistently, dropping a video once a week for the most part for the last 5 years. I have a lot of videos that have never made it past 200 views. I got some videos still in double digits, but I didn't upload those videos and I didn't make those posts as motivation. I was gonna do the stuff anyway. I'm just uploading it to try to help somebody else. I could care less if that video gets 1 view or if it gets 1,000,000 views. I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna do this regardless. I started making videos to help other people. Yeah, I got some videos with 50,000 views, but I mean, most of them is 4 years old. But like, I don't have a 1,000,000 view video. Don't have it. I don't even know if I got none in triple digits, to be honest with you. But it's just like, that don't matter. If I help 1 person per video, that's all I care about. That's all I care about. But I'm gonna keep posting videos whether they get likes, views, comments, or not. Because I'm doing it for me. I'm not doing it for you. But if it helps you, man, that's all that matters. If this video helps somebody to keep motivation because it's what we want to do, awesome. If this video stops somebody from starting something because it's not what they want to do and they don't have it in their heart, awesome. Do it because you want to do it, not because you feel pressured to do it, and not necessarily because you want to fit in, because not sustainable at all. That's all. Just want to add it to. I was driving home and I was just thinking about it, and you know, do it because you want to do it. If you got a support system, it makes it 10 times better. But if you don't, still get it done. That's all I got. I'm going.